What's up guys, Mr. Lee Redmond here with episode 4 of the Sliema Wanderer's Journey. I've now completed the season and as everyone remembered, my hope was to get Sliema back into Europe after missing out this season. It looks very much like I wasn't going to make it after the second section. As you can see right there, I won 2 games in the whole section and that was it. So it was going to take quite a decent run to get into the Europe, or at least have a chance, and especially after losing the quarter-final to Dingley Swallows. But guys, I have to say, it has gone very, very well. First game was Birkirkara, where we won 2-1. Stanley Uhachuchu, I think is how you say it, who despite the team's poor form in the previous section, has actually been on very good scoring form. He scored again, 17 minutes to go to put me 1-0 up. And then Ariel Dowsey actually made it 2-0 with 10 minutes to go. And despite Adrian Kiantar scoring for Birkirkara with 5 minutes to go, we held out to claim our first win in 4 games, and hopefully the start of a decent run in to get to Europe. So the next game was a game against, as you can see there, I've gone a bit too far, home to Balzan Youths. Stefano Bianacchiari put Balzan 1-0 up in the 7th minute, and they went in 1-0 at half time. However, a superb second half performance by the lads gave us the 3 points. Patino Barbetti put us level with just only 8 minutes on the clock in the second half. 4 minutes later, Sean Bajada, my captain for this game, made it 2. And then with 15 minutes to go, Stanley Ochoa again scored. I think this is about his 4th game in a row where he scored. Made it 3-1, and that's how it ended. So we made it 2 wins in a row. As you can see, deserved it. 10 shots to 9, 6 shots to 2 on aggregate, 56 to 44% in the possession. So we then followed that up, as you guys may have seen when I went a bit too far just then, with a 3rd win against Mostar, 3-0. Pablo Gonzalez in the 3rd minute put us in the front, and that's how it ended at half time. And then 3 minutes into the second half, he doubled the tally to make it 2. Obviously, and then Joseph Mitchell rounded off the score and 10 minutes later to make it 3-0 against Mostar. 4 shots to 0 on target, 15 to 7 in my favour, with possession at 58% to me. So that made it 3 wins on the spin. We then made it 4 by beating Crormi 2-0. Pablo Gonzalez in the 63rd minute put us in front. And Clifford Gats Baldacchino, I think is how you say it. What a name that is. Imagine having that on your shirt. Scored a 2nd with 15 minutes to go to give us a win, and our 4th win in a row. So the section started excellently to get us towards Europe. Dominated this game as well. 18 shots to 5 in my favour, 7 to 3 on target with 64%. So for the first time in this section, our watcher hadn't actually scored. So unfortunately, the run ended there, where I played Balzan Youths for the 2nd time in 4 games, and unfortunately an Elton goal with 1 minute to go gave Balzan the win. It's very irritating, as at this point as well I was closing in on the European spots, and the teams in 2nd, 3rd had already lost. 4th had actually won, so they were doing really obviously not much I could do there, but this would have closed the gap, but unfortunately we failed to do it. 8 shots to 7 to them, 3 shots on target to 2 to them, and 55% in their favour. I'm still trying to work out what happens with these fixtures. I know obviously most of the teams seem to play at the Katali Stadium, but we seem to be all over the place. I don't think once this season actually has all 10 teams or all 12 teams actually played on the same day. But anyway, that was the first defeat of the section. We'll go into the next game, which was a game against Valletta. And check that out, guys. I don't actually know what to say to that. Uwacha continued his scoring form to put me 1-0 up in the 20th minute. However, we then suffered in the last 15 minutes. Frank Timal, 31st minute. He then doubled it in the 39th. And then Joseph Oganupu, with 1 minute to go, put Valletta 3-1 up at half time. And I had a right go at the team, to be fair. Because, again, teams around me were losing. And we needed really to catch up. And I tell you what, look at that. I mean, I don't know what to say. I just didn't know what to do. I was punching the air, I was going nuts. I mean, Ivan Woods pulling one back with just 5 minutes on the clock. I'm thinking, okay, this could be interesting. 15 minutes later, Ian Clanter equalised. That's when I was going nuts. But I had this fear that Valletta were going to score probably with about a minute to go. But oh no. 3 minutes later, Berbetti made it 4-2. 2 minutes later, Noel Turner rounded off the scoring to 5-3 win over Valletta, who were running away with the league at that time. 15 shots to 7 in my favour, 8 on target to their 5, and 52 percentage. But the fans after that game were delusional, going nuts. I think they must have been throwing parties in the streets. We then followed that up with a win against one of our European rivals, Hibernians. Pablo Gonzalez put us 1-0 up with 8 minutes to go before half time. He then rounded off the scoring with 18 minutes to go to give us a 2-0 win and a massive step towards that European prize. So, stats wise, they had the more shots, 17-9, but for once we had a lot on target. 7 shots to 4, so 7 out of my 9 shots were on target. It's been a while since that happened, despite them having quite a bit of possession. So that was a second win in a row, and against 2 of the bigger teams in the country as well. We then followed up the Hibernian win, unfortunately, with the second defeat of the campaign, or not the campaign, sorry, of the section, at home to Floriana, who were bottom of the table, which was really annoying. Nowoko, no, I'm going to try pronouncing his first name, Nowoko, sorry, put them 1-0 up with 3 minutes to go, 3 minutes in on the clock even, and then Rodrigo Branco scored a second 2 minutes before half time to give them the 2-0 win. And it was actually really irritating, especially after beating Valletta so well, come back 3-1 down, and Hibernians to lose to Floriana, who were bottom. But we didn't have a problem, as you can see there. Rounded off this season with 2 4-on wins. Turksian went 1-0 up in the 20th minute, and we're 1-0 up at half time. So kicked the guys up the ass again, and has worked again. Stanley Woodchu scored again just before the hour mark to level it up for us. Ivan Woods then scored and put us in front with 18 minutes to go to make it 2-1. Baldacchino made it 3-1 4 minutes later, and then Ivan Woods rounded the scoring off with a minute to go, and that result, coupled with others, guaranteed us European football next season. And just to be on the safe side, we rounded the season off with a 4-1 win over Rabat Ajax. Pablo Gonzalez put us 1-0 up before just under 20 minutes. Ivan Woods scored again, 5 minutes to go to make it 2-0. And then in the second half, Barbetti again in the 64th minute made it 3-0. Malcolm Lucari pulled one back for Rabat Ajax in the 72nd minute. And then to round it off, Sean Bajado, 10 minutes to go, 4-1. Second 4-1 win of the season to round off a very, very good section. And with that, guys, check it out. Second in the table. Valletta, I think, actually won the league the week after I beat them 5-3. That's how clear they were. So they finished top on 71. I finished second on 60 points. Hibernians finished third on 58. And Birkirkara with 55 in fourth place. So we are the teams into Europe. Valletta obviously in the Champions League. Then me, Hibernians and Birkirkara in the first round of the Europa League qualifying. Floriana and Melita go down. Floriana used to be one of the powerhouses, to be fair, which is a little interesting. Coming up, Actually, it's not guaranteed. Unfortunately, I made a little bit of an error here. I've actually got everyone playing each other twice instead of 3 times like the Premiership. Not too fast, because hopefully this and my Rags to Riches series with Real Oviedo will be my final series on FM 2013. And I'd expect, to be fair, I expect Vitorosa, as I actually found out what it's called while I was away, will be the team going up, and I probably expect Dingley Swallows to nab it, to be fair. So it's between Dingley, Naxar and Marshallock, and Dingley actually play Marshallock as well. Not too sure on Naxar play. There they go, they're away to Pieta Hotspurs. But yeah, let's just have a look at the FA Cup. Valletta won 6-4, right? But check this scoring out. So they went in front in the 10th minute. Michael Misford, the former Coventry striker, made it 2 in the 26th. 3-0 in the 37th, so 3-0 at half time. And then Jonathan de Corona, 4-0 in the 46th minute. So 4-0 up, right? And then Saliba made it 4-1 in the 51st. He then made it 4-2 in the 57th. And Bala made it 4-3 in the 83rd. And then in the 4th minute of added on time, Rodrigo Correaga made it 4-all. And then we had Tamini, who made it 5-4 in the 101st. And Abubakar, I think is how you say it actually, rounded it off in the 116th minute. But to come back from 4-0 down with only 40 minutes to go is actually insane, to be quite honest. So Valletta actually ended up doing the double, so he definitely made it into Europe. And I think actually because of that, I think actually Brecacaro got a space in Europe, because I'm not too sure if these rules are correct. There are 4 teams going through, to be honest with you. I'm surprised they didn't go to Hamrun, but there you go. So let's just check some other stuff. Squad details. I did get an announcement actually. Ivan Woods has actually become Sliema's all-time leading scorer with 94, I think it is. Probably more actually. See if I can find out what it is. There we go. Actually, I'm not too sure if that's right. That's what I'm looking for. Whoops. I'm not sure where I'm actually going here. Oh, there we go. Is that right? Landmarks? Nope. There's a competition to prove we are the actual most decorated club in Malta. No, unfortunately I can't seem to find it. But he is top goal scorer in the history of Sliema. There we go. Most league goals, 95 he's got. Don't know why that took me so long to find that. So yeah, that was quite good. I haven't done anything else yet, to be fair. Unfortunately, the season did finish a little early. It finishes middle of April, but I'm not too fussed on that. I am in Europe next season. What I might do is a maybe a little bit of a special episode at the start of this new season. I'll record the draw for the Europa League if I can do it. I can guarantee I'm going to get one of the major powerhouses now, my luck. We're not going to be seeded. Valletta might. I think Valletta are the only ones that actually would have a chance of getting seeded in the Europa League. Champions League wise, if I remember rightly, they did actually make it. They got through the first round as expected, and I think they did make it through the second, didn't they, as well? Where are they? Yeah, there they are. Beat Maribor 3-2. I think that's actually the furthest any Maltese club's ever got. And then they lost 5-1 in the final qualifying, or the third qualifying round against Basel. So they're actually 2 rounds away from Champions League, which is actually unbelievable, especially for Maltese clubs. So they'll probably get, I don't think there's actually an extra round this year, or an extra game, because I think it said they go straight into the second qualifying round. There's a possible chance of them actually being seeded for that round. Hopefully, to be fair, I don't think we'll do much, to be honest, in the Europa League. I would like a goal, not getting tanked, to be nice, to be honest, but we'll have to wait and see who we get. There's a possibility we could do something, but I extremely doubt it, if I am being totally honest, but we'll have to wait and see. As you can see, Man City got Porto in the Champions League final. Europa League final is AC Milan and Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce, that's random, and AC Milan, to be fair. So that's pretty much that. Not really too sure what else to look at. Could have a look at some of the other nations, to be fair, see who's doing what there, because I think most of it is actually wrapped up now. Faroe Islands would be interesting to look at. Yeah, B36 to Sean, I've done it. Yep. I think, how many times they played each other? 3 times? Yeah, 3 times. Actually, what I will do, is have a look at Malta. Let's have a look at how all their squads are getting on a little bit, shall we? So they're under 19s. Friendly wise, pretty terrible. Lost to Georgia, Slovakia, Turkey. I reckon they might beat the Faroe Islands though. They've actually won a game. Cool. They won at Liechtenstein. They lost to Albania and Bosnia. And in the Euro qualifiers, actually lost to Israel and Holland, but got a draw with Cyprus. And if I remember rightly, yeah, that was actually no, Cyprus qualified over Holland, which is interesting. Under 21s, they're pretty much doing just as bad. Lost to Cyprus, lost to Ireland, lost to Georgia. Somehow, in the under 21s, I think that's all been done actually. Those ones there. Drew with England, I think that was already done. Lost to Israel. Got tanked by Northern Ireland. Drew with Latvia, lost to Luxembourg, and actually smashed San Marino. So far, both youth squads have at least won the game. Senior squad, bloody hell, how they manage that? Beat Denmark 2-0. Mifsud and Andrew Cohen. How the fudge have they managed that? Anyway, lost to Serbia at home in a friendly. And that's see, this is what I found weird. World Cup qualifiers, they've drawn with Armenia, drawn with Bulgaria, tanked by Italy, and drew in the Czech Republic. And then they've gone and somehow beat Denmark. So they're actually 3 points off second. And they go to Armenia next, and then Bulgaria. So yeah, that is actually a shock and a half, if I'm being honest with you. England, let's have a quick shifty. Group 8, I keep forgetting what group we're actually in. Make it easier, let's do it that way. As you can see, top of the table, 4 wins out of 5, drawn 1. I always find England seem to be really overpowered on this game, or any version of it really. They quite often or not will win one of the first 2 World Cups, possible, or Euros. Speaking of which, guys, I'm actually recording this a couple of days before we actually play Montenegro in the first of the 2 October World Cup qualifiers. Basically, I think we should win. Obviously, we should win both games, but this is England we're talking about, so probably be a 90th minute in off Rooney's ass winner or something. Though if I'm being honest, I don't really care. I know a lot of people out there will expect us to smash most teams. As long as we win, I don't really care. But yeah, if I remember rightly off the top of my head without looking, we beat Montenegro, we're guaranteed top 2 finish. and then obviously Poland will actually, or hopefully will win the group, depending on Ukraine. I know Ukraine got San Marino, I think, in the last game, so it could come down to goal difference. But I believe they go to Poland, which I get the feeling they may come away with a point. Not a great qualifying for us, to be fair, but as long as we're there, I don't really care how we do it. It would be nice for us to go through a whole qualification round without actually losing a game like we almost did last time, apart from the defeated Ukraine. With that in mind, I also actually read that by the sounds of it, if we qualify for the World Cup, we're going to be in the second pot of the seeds, so we could get someone like Spain or Italy or something like that. Obviously, you'd still expect us to qualify. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Leave some likes and leave some comments. Comment on what you reckon is going to happen in the England game if you want, how you see it, whether you reckon Hodgson's doing a good job. Still, it's quite nice to have an English manager for once. Admittedly, they actually did do a lot better in the Euros than I expected them. I would happily admit I was not expecting them to get out of the actual groups, to be honest. We should always get out of groups of both major tournaments as far as I'm concerned, but I was not expecting it considering the transformation we were going through. But yeah, we actually got out there. I was really surprised we actually did. World Cup, we should still do it, but leave how you reckon, if you reckon Hodgson's doing a good job, what you reckon we'll do Friday, what you reckon we'll do against Poland on Tuesday. Subscribe to the channel, would really help. Not many subscribers at the moment. Leave some likes, leave some comments, appreciate all the details, and that's it for this one, guys. So join me next time for the draw for the Europa League. I'm not quite sure if I'll do like a little video just for Europa tournament. Probably not going to be worth it, considering it probably won't even be 5 minutes long, to be fair. So what I'll probably do is probably do that, and then just go up to the first game or something, so a little bit of the details. But that's it, guys. Check it out. Check out the next video, and I'll see you all then. In that case, take it steady, guys.